We'll go right to citizens forum. Anyone? Going once, going twice. And in that case, apparently there's a retirement party. Now we'll recognize Reed McFarland for his many years of service. We got a pretty plaque for you, Reed. In recognition of 24 years of service to Lake Norwood School District.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we get a picture of that?
Board.
That looks really good right there.
Right there.
You can see them in the background? Such wonderful people. I got you, Tim.
Don't put that one in the paper.
Now, what is he doing behind me?
No, it was behind me.
Are you bunny ears?
We've been
in here?
functioning behind Reed's back all along.
Thank you very much, Reed. Thank you, Corinne.
Thanks, Reed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Reed. Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Reed.
you.
Thank you. You know, you've done a really good job. So thank you.
Can I miss you?
Now you gotta give a speech.
I'm not gonna give a speech, but I am going
Sing a song then.
Yeah.
You guys all pay me $5 not to sing at all. I do want to thank you guys. I made a remark to Jeff. This is probably one of the best times in my career here. Where everything seems to be going good, building's in good shape. Good board. Silly time to retire, right? Of course, the way you seen in the paper last week, I sadly found out at the Masmus convention and I had won that award. And it totally caught me off guard. I didn't expect it. It was the fourth time they'd given out in 40 years. And then I was thinking back in 2011, I also won the Professional of the Year award, which has been given out about 15, 16 times for the last 40 years. And as I think about that stuff, it's really about the people that support us and the people in the building and the people that come to our building and see our building. And none of that stuff is possible, and every time it's caught me totally off guard. But you know, we've really overall had good school boards that will support funding the facility here and stuff like that. And without that, we can't do anything. And I know Seth is going to receive the same support when it comes to the facility, and Brent's going to receive the same support. I just want to thank you guys. I kind of felt unworthy of getting everything. But
Well, that was a pretty good non-speech.
Good job, Reed.
anyway, having said that, Friday night, my retirement party is at the VFW, and you're all welcome to come and bring your whoever with you.
What time?
5 to 7 Friday night at VFW.
I thought it would be 5 to close.
It may be.
7 subject to change.
Yeah. So, all right.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Reed. We'll go right into reports now. We got board committees, policy committee. I'll look at Corinne. We looked over policies.
Yeah.
Some of them we're going to be reviewing tonight
More policies,
and reading.
yes.
So, yeah.
But we actually,
I'm sorry, what
Any
was
that
the
we-
question?
any of them that we covered this last go around aren't on the.
Yeah, I think everything's in.
Everything's in there. Yep.
Everything's in. So,
We're still fine tuning the employee handbook.
okay, we'll move on to school forest committee. Looking at Corinne again.
Corinne, I'll grab this and go, okay. Good discussion, once again, probably worthy of anybody who wants to be on that committee, it's fun. Some grant writing projects, we're looking to purchase, clinometers.
Yep.
I got 2 head knots. Woody, clinometer? Give me an idea what that is, because I didn't know in this meeting.
It's for measuring inclines.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, it is effectively inclines, but go ahead, Seth, what do you got for a clinometer? What do you use it for?
Height of a tree,
It's, yeah,
basically.
it's the height of the tree, it kind of ties with the age of it too, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The width and.
Right, and then you can determine how many board feet you get out of if you're in the logging industry. Anyway, we're looking at purchasing, 20 of those, 15 of those, writing a grant for that, and orienteering tools. That we can throw a kid out in the school forest and hope he makes it back in time for lunch. We also are talking about doing a winter triathlon. Brent Cole's in charge of that, so any questions you have. Ski is on March 10th from 5 to 7, and then we will remind you of that over the next several meetings again. But as we get closer, our big event in the forest, I think, or one of the big events in the forest.
What day?
March 10th at the moment, which gives us enough of a full moon. Hopefully we get the weather that we need.
And snow.
Yep,
Don't worry.
that is it.
All right.
We had snow today.
Okay, we're gonna combine the business office and the finance committee report. And now I'll look at Crystal for the finance committee report.
So at the finance committee, we just went over the up-to-date budget report for the month. There's nothing out of the ordinary. We're on track for right now. It's early in the year though. And what else did we go over? We're starting to do, Jeff and I are starting to do quarterly budget update meetings with supervisors, just so we're all on the same page as far as the budget, where we sit with it, what projects we have upcoming for the rest of the year. So we're going to continue that on a quarterly basis. And we discussed the bus lease that we'll be approving tonight as well. It is in the budget to do it, to get a new bus, but there's the option of doing 36 months or 48 months, so we just kind of discussed that and how it relates to the budget for the year. And that's all we discussed. Do you have any questions as far as the budget goes, or?
Why is the state and federal revenue category so remiss and haven't been in years past? I mean, why do you get such a, this year we've received 1.2% from each of the state and federal, whereas years past, as much as 20, as low as minus 12. I mean, why are they so?
Well, a lot of this right here is gonna have to do, this year where it's higher at 20%, most likely there hadn't been a journal entry done yet to take the revenue we had received in that year and actually put it back to the previous year. Cause they hold back 10%, I can't remember the number offhand, from the state, so we actually don't collect that money until September. So if for some reason we collected the money in September, it was posted, but that journal entry wasn't completed to move it to the previous year, that's where you're gonna have to show that 20%. Cause typically you don't start receiving a lot of your revenue until September, October time for then the current year.
Enough.
Any other questions?
Oh, and our auditor should be here in November. So I guess we'll have to have that discussion too, if you guys want them to actually come and present, or if we can do something over video or something like that. They're open to either.
Where do they come from?
Cost associated, I would assume.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
So it would be cheaper for us if we just did it over video conference, but they are more than willing to come too as well. So we'll have to decide that before the November meeting.
What have they done in the past?
Last year was the first year we had, and they did.
Yep.
And then the previous previous auditors did come. They came from Deep River, but
We tried it once with
Video.
Brady Martins.
Wasn't
That didn't go well.
No,
But
our
technology,
my experience is just not the same as when they're actually here.
Yeah.
No.
You're actually getting what you pay for when they come here.
Only question would be is, do we want to foot the expense to have them
Well,
here?
or is there anything
Yeah, is there
significant
anything
that
to
we
it?
need to discuss?
Yeah,
right.
Right,
I mean, last year it made sense.
Yeah,
because it was new.
Yeah, because it was new,
In the first year, yeah.
But their
so,
report was very
And we'll still,
user-friendly, I
yeah,
thought.
yeah, and we'll still get all that too.
the cost will be $1,000, so.
So,
We
we don't have to decide, we don't have to
Yeah,
decide that right now.
we've got
but-
time to figure it out.
Yeah, before November's meeting.
Okay,
but it will be here quickly, so.
yeah.
get on it. Okay, then we'll move on to the superintendent evaluation and growth plan.
All right, I'll take charge of that. We met, Jeff Burcham and Jeff Nelson and myself met in late September. We discussed all the evaluation sheets that you guys had handed in effectively. Did a mathematical assessment of that. I'll be brief with it and tell you that on a scale of 1 to 5 in all the categories that we discussed, and I don't think I'm going to read through every one here just because it's going to take a bit, but you as a group I did not see any scores lower than 2, but I did see several 5s, so you were willing to go as a board to an extreme on the top end of things and not on the bottom. So I think that right off the top signaled that it was somewhat of a positive review. And do you mind if I read the 10 categories that we
Yeah,
did?
go right
Is
ahead.
that appropriate? And I'll give you an idea, but for instance, we just, in not going through each question, but just basically what each subset of questions was trying to address. The essence of it, for instance, in the first category, we had the superintendent providing leadership for the school district's educational programs, staff development programs, and curriculum development to provide the best possible learning environment for students. And overall, you as a board ranked them 4 out of 5. The superintendent, this is number 2, informs and advises the school board about programs, practices, again, a 4 out of 5, so fairly positive. The superintendent explains the educational needs of the school district to the school board, including recommending necessary policies and staffing changes. Overall, once again, a 4, so I think we're happy with that. The superintendent acting as a liaison between the community and the district in response to concerns of parents, students, citizens, and staff to increase our understanding of policies and practices and keep them informed of and involved with school district activities. That's a little lower, 3.2, and I think that was the lowest. Not that that means it's bad, it's still well above the average, so we understand that good things are happening there. Number 5, the superintendent oversees all financial operations of the school district and prepares, presents, and recommends the various budgets to the school board, and we scored that at 3.45. The superintendent interprets employee proposals for the school board and recommends adjustments in employee policies and salary structures, 3.9, so fairly high. The superintendent institutes and updates a comprehensive strategic planning process, very specific this go around, including short-term and long-term planning. We gave him a 3.75 on that. The superintendent establishes and maintains good relationships with agencies and personnel outside the school district to promote the best interest of the school district through contact with legislatures, other superintendents, local government leaders, etc. 3.6. The superintendent maintains and improves effective school board superintendent relations by periodically reviewing and upgrading performance through seminars, training sessions, 3.75. And finally, the superintendent is good at delegating responsibility and authority to school district employees as appropriate, defining the authority and responsibilities of the mid-management staff and effectively evaluates them. And overall, that was a 3.75. So the numbers reflect that we're quite happy with them. Those numbers were better than the last time, so obviously improvement. And then We established goals last time around, and I won't once again go through all of them, but just for your memory, the superintendent, we wanted to effectively oversee all financial operations of the school district. And once again, this goal was established, I'm going to say effectively 16 months ago, and we need to evaluate more frequently, but we'll effectively oversee all financial operations. I think we felt it was important at the moment, this time in the school district, we needed our finances under control. So we wanted him to increase his knowledge of school finances, effectively supervise and manage the district's business, and ensure that a 3 to 5 year projection model is implemented and used to communicate the district's future financial position. And our superintendent did a nice job of addressing those things. He got certification in several courses, including building and grounds management, legal and personnel. Went to the Masbo Falls Conference, went to accounting and auditing 2, transportation 2, another Masbo conference, and cash management as well in the spring. So he's been busy and pretty much did what we asked him to do, just get better at it.
These are the things that I'm going to do.
Oh,
You're looking at the growth plan.
oh, I got the wrong page, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so
So this is
you
the
had that
second
list?
year. The first year was very similar, and I listed all the stuff that I had doing
Okay.
red.
Apologize.
But I think everyone had.
Because you had already gone to like the
the
accounting and auditing 1,
Yep,
and then you've done the transportation 1.
yep. So now
Okay.
this is just continuing the next steps to
Sorry,
get.
that was my fault for not being that specific. All right, so going on with that, the point being that he continues to do what we've asked him to do financially, just going to all these courses and getting those certifications. Secondly, the superintendent will provide leadership and maintain positive working relationships through effective communication with board, staff, and community. Once again, we wanted him to continue to improve on that, and through our assessment, I think we were all happy with the efforts he had made in terms of putting stuff in the local paper, going on the radio, keeping the board informed on a weekly missive that was sent out, over the internet. By his own admission, missed on a couple of times, but I think you're short staffed at times and just didn't get all that. But I think that everything we asked him to do publicly, you accomplished as well. We want continue to improvement on that, and I think that rather than rewrite these goals, we're just asking you to continue to enhance your abilities with them. And then thirdly, the superintendent will institute and update a comprehensive strategic planning process, including short and long-term planning, school district goals and instructional goals. The superintendent will monitor the district's progress towards achievement of identified goals through evaluation and data collection for continuous improvement. And there, we had a strategic planning effort in May that took about a month worth of efforts and meetings, and that was very successful. I know some of you guys participated in that. Good event, and in light of that, I think that our charge to you this time, we discussed, was trying to implement that plan now, not just accepting the fact that we made it, but making sure that gets into our day-to-day in the school. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. And then we wanted you to continue to work on the world-class workforce, which you added into your potential resume for the upcoming year. And then also, we'd like a more detailed and regular evaluation of you and administrative staff as well, just so we have, as a board, are kept up to date on that, so we don't get strung out 16 months into it when we should be doing it every 12 months, for instance. And I kind of rambled through that. It gets to be a long process, but if you have questions or comments, I think in the whole, very happy with what's going on there. And you left a blank sheet at the back end in case we wanted to discuss something else specific you might have in mind that we wanted Jeff to address over the course of the next 12 months, knowing that we will get an interim assessment in, I think we said February, in the middle of winter. Just an idea of, what you're doing, for instance, to implement the strategic plan that we had established last spring. Thoughts on that? Anybody got something else that between finance, public relations, and school goals. I guess would be the three sort of big
Sounds like
areas.
he's gonna have a busy year.
Pardon?
Sounds like he's gonna have a busy year.
Well, he's the one who picked the labor
Yeah.
negotiations, all three in the same year as well, so I think
Yeah.
this could be a good year for him. Okay, everybody happy? That's what I got for the superintendent evaluation. You have a comment you want to make on it, feel free.
No, thanks for the feedback. Always room for growth, and so
Okay,
helps me keep focused, so appreciate your efforts.
with that, we'll segue right into the superintendent elementary principal reports.
Okay, first thing I have is the enrollment report. The 492, off the top of my head. So our enrollment is sitting pretty good at this point. So a lot of our October 1 enrollment is a pretty important
That's one of the
measure
key
because
ones, isn't it?
that's what's used for a lot of our funding and stuff like that and different programming, so our enrollment is very happy with where we're sitting right now with our enrollment.
And that's up 19, that's pretty significant.
Yeah. Strategic planning update. I'll let you read through it. I've put down some of the things and how I see them fitting in or with our strategic plan focus areas and goals. I guess it's pretty straightforward what's in there. I also added a copy of our strategic plan with what I gave you. And then security update. I know there's been a little bit of a transition with some of the changes, moving the elementary and high school offices into one central office, asking the public to come into the core or the main entrance, and having less public access basically to the building. And I think it takes time to make adjustments like that. It's not perfect. There's things that we're trying to improve on. Some of the issues I think have been resolved with some changes with some of the early childhood kids, using different access for them, and that's highlighted in the update bullet points that I've given you. Some of the other issues is concerns with high school and elementary co-mingling at the end of the day. We do have set times where we expect the elementary classes to come through the commons and be on the buses. And our hope is the majority of most kids elementary kids should be out on the buses by the time the high school is released. I'm looking at getting more supervision in the commons area, especially with parents coming to pick up young students. And I got Seth looking for a bench. We're going to have a designated area for the younger kids to wait. Right now, I think most of the time they end up in the high school office with Tracy, but that's probably not the ideal spot. So there's things that we're trying to improve on, but as I outlined in this document, I think there's strong rationale why we want to secure our building better than what it has been in the past. We've had several outside agencies come in and critique how we secure our building, and most of the changes that we're making is based on their feedback and expertise on what we should be doing to keep the kids safe. I think that's what it comes down to. It's not always convenient. Sometimes good deeds don't go unpunished or something like that. So whenever you do changes like this, there might be things, oversight that we don't see. So I just ask if you hear concerns from parents or community members, encourage them to get a hold of me, or you can contact me so we can take a look at it. But I think some little extra more supervision and staying with our schedule at the end of the day will help a lot of things.
I have a question
Yep.
tonight. as I came in for the finance meeting, people were going in that elementary door. Or is someone holding the door open for them, or is it being opened, like for
It's
For the
it's
dance
supposed to be, it's supposed to be locked. I'm assuming someone's opening the door.
Opening
We
the
leave
door.
the door locked.
Yeah,
We do
okay.
not
I was just
unlock it.
curious
Yep.
about that, because I thought it kind of negated the single entry point, but,
During the school day, and the kids have done a nice job, we've asked them
to let people
not
in.
to let people in. That's one of another reason why we don't want all the classes going out there, because now you've actually opened up another entrance, because there's so many kids going out at certain times. It's very easy for
Someone to
anyone
come
in the
in.
public,
Yeah.
not even a parent, to just kind of wander in amongst the crowd and stuff. So it's never 100% perfect.
Yeah, I was just curious about it since I saw it and, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep, and people are free to, when they exit the building, they can use
Right.
any of the exits,
Yeah.
but those are always
I thought
locked.
maybe, you know, after school wasn't in session that you opened that door. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
So no,
No, okay. Thank you.
any other questions? There's quite a bit of information on this. And we do have a crisis committee that meets monthly. So these things have been discussed. It's been discussed with the supervisors. We've looked at, you know, do we need to keep all the doors locked even after hours and during activities? And there were reasons why we felt that we should maintain security, especially some of the areas in the building that are maintain a secure building. Sundays are a good example. We've had a lot of kids in public and people in the public coming in and using the gyms and not going through Brent or anything like that, not organized, not supervised. We are looking at trying to provide some open gym times and schedule it and have a staff member supervising it. So we're ironing out the details and how we can fund that, and even if we have to charge $1 or $2, so that the building, we want the building to be accessible to the public, but for a number of reasons, we want to maintain security and for liability issues. So I've got a few heated calls and stuff like that, but I think it's just part of something different, and it's very different for our community because it's been pretty much open door policy for many, many, many years. So this is kind of a change, and that's tough. November calendar is on there in your packet. As far as board meetings, I think we moved the school forest is actually on the 4th now because it's the 11th is Veterans Day. Also, the policy committee had to move to the 19th, which is a Tuesday. And then October 24th, health and safety. That should not be in there. We just had that, so I missed that. And then November 25th is our regular board meeting. I've listed some of the other upcoming events. End of the quarter is November 1st already. November 8th, we do have a Veterans Day program at 11 a.m. in the auditorium. And if you haven't had a chance to participate, I would strongly encourage, if you can, to come in. Brian and his staff and the kids, they do a really nice job. Anyone that's gone there can tell you that. And
I wasn't able to attend last year, but I did the year before. It was
yeah,
very
they
nice.
do. Yeah, they do a really nice program with the veterans. So that's. Then Veterans Day, the 11th, is a no school day. And parent-teacher conferences are coming up on the 21st and the 26th. And then we have Thanksgiving holiday on the 28th and 29th. And November is kind of an unusual month for me, so I put in the dates that I'm scheduled to be out of the district, and it's more than a normal month, so. But I think between Brent, Chad, and Brian, I think administratively we'll have everything covered. So any questions for me?
Quick question back here.
Okay.
The time for the Veterans Day program was at 11 a.m.?
Yes.
Thank you. Just writing very fast.
All right, any questions?
Oh, I do have one
Okay,
thing, I'm
Jeff's
sorry.
got a question.
I have here ballots, and this is for the Northwest Service Co-op Board of Directors. There's 3 candidates. I have brief information on them. I'll leave it up to you if you want to quickly do a vote, if it's meaningful to you or whatever. You can just leave it, fold it in half, leave it here, and I can send those in, or you can take it. They have to be in the Northwest Service Co-op office by 4 p.m. on December 9th. And I don't know any of the candidates personally, so the only information I have is right here. So take a look at that, and I'll send in whatever ballots are completed.
Okay. We'll go right down to buildings and grounds.
Well, first we need to talk about is the floor contract. I think we brought that up a couple weeks before. We've negotiated it out with Peterson Flooring to start it the day after school, and by doing that, we can save almost $10,000 this year, and we can get it done and up and ready for next year. So we need to get that signed.
That was included in the budget, right?
Yes. We did get another quote, and he came in about 13,000 less than the other company. So that's why we went with Peterson. Any questions on that?
So when are we scheduled to have it done?
The day after the last day of school,
They'll start. How long will it take? Do you
2
know?
to 3 weeks.
Okay.
It's gonna be a complete, strip refinish, everything with all new graphics put on. I'm kinda excited about that. I've seen some of the graphics he drew. It'll look good. Any other questions? Okay. Number 2 on there, substitute custodian needed. We put an ad in the paper because it's really getting hard to find somebody to fill in when we need them. So we determined that we do have a void that needs to get filled with the substitute custodian. So we're running that in the paper and we'll see what happens with that. Any questions with that?
What have we had in the past?
We've had Woody's been one who's retired now, and then we have Benita, and then we have one more, Dylan Eason right now, and he's already working an 8-hour a day job too, on top of that. That's one of the reasons we made the determination that we do need to find a couple, at least one more substitute, in case he can't make it or Benita's busy also.
Yeah.
Not going on.
Yep, gotta wait.
We did talk about that.
It's going, yeah, I'd
Just
love
keep
to,
dragging.
but I can't.
So, any other questions about that? Or if you know anybody?
That's on an on-call basis.
It is.
kind of.
It is. You know, I could be covering three different shifts. You know, typically it's either like covering for me if I got conferences or training to go to, or it would be for after midnights and lockdowns for Bertle when he goes, because he's the only one that we have to do that. And one other thing that's not on there, just to give you an update with the rebate and switching everything over to LED, we are getting another $10,000 credit. That's in the works already. And going over all the numbers, we're approximately have about $5,000 left in rebates to get for the year.
Any guesstimate what percentage have been refitted, or have they all been, just about all been done, or
We're well over 2/3 of the project. already.
Perfect. Okay.
The end date, we're shooting for December 15th, but absolute deadline is December 31st. Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And that brings us to community ed and transportation.
Well, things are kind of winding down, with our fall volleyball. We had a tournament last Saturday. I wasn't able to attend, but I guess it was a really good turnout. Cars were parked up to the highway, and Earl and everyone that I talked to said it was ran very well and everything was really smooth. So that's good to hear. Archery is going to begin tonight at 8 o'clock. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout for that. Last week I was at the MCA conference down in Brooklyn Park. And learned quite a few different things. May have found some, I took a class on the ship grant and I can find a way to get us some skis for the candlelight ski. I talked to some people. I think I can make it work, but we'll have to find out if there's still some money left. And then basketball is going to be starting at the end of November. That's coming up, and that's usually have 70 kids participating with that. For transportation, for a bus purchase, we obtained 3 bids for leases, and Border State Bank came at the lowest at 1.99%. And I guess we need to figure out if we want to pursue a 2 or a 3 or a 4-year lease. I guess Crystal could build a little more on the impact.
Yeah, we decided on a 4-year. Still sticking with that? Still have
We
about
had
another
another discussion.
20 minutes to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We arm wrestled and she won.
Yeah.
But the numbers are, the exact numbers are, I did put them in the write-up too, I don't remember exactly, but it was a
Was-
difference of.
About $970 that you would save overall.
Right.
If you change it to 3-year, but one of the conditions was that you could pay, we could, if we got some extra money, we could pay another lease payment in any year. So we could shorten the lease that way.
At 1.99.
Yeah, pretty good,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Crystal's being the budget hawk here.
Yep.
So,
That's her recommendation.
so,
Yeah.
yep.
We just thought it was awful early in the year to go, to do $5,000 over budget.
Oh, yeah, good point.
If it was May, it wouldn't be so serious, but
All the little things can add up.
Is there any more questions for me?
On the bus lease or on anything? Do you have anything for your transportation report or anything to mention on that? Jeff had that on there.
What is it?
Underneath bus lease, it was transportation report, so where is that
You
kind
did
of
that.
combined?
Yeah, we talked about that last month.
Okay.
Kind of my sales pitch for us for you guys.
Okay. And, I guess my question is, my continuing one, I'll probably keep bugging you about it every month, is, any more news about a driver's ed program here? I know, talking with community members, there is lots of interest in having it in the school.
I think we're gonna be able to get Brian to know to come on Morrow and teach the course. And this last month, he's been teaching it in Morrow, for school. And we're kind of waiting for his schedule to open up. Make it here.
Okay.
So I'm kind of waiting on him to give me some days, and then assuming, hopefully, mid to late winter. But I told him, whenever you can come here, we need it.
Very good. Now, and would that be a potential long-term thing, or is this the kind of an interim deal, or what's your vision?
But he's a retired teacher, so I would like to see if we can find someone here local, to possibly get that training and that's licensed, and so we have to.
Okay.
Because there's money to be made, and there'd be enough for both.
Okay, very good. Sorry for putting you on the spot there with stuff we had.
That's a
planned
pretty
on.
hot button issue, so.
Yep, good. Any further questions for Brent? In that case, we'll move on to food service.
Just waiting for the third reading of the unpaid balance policy, 534, and then we have to start getting some, what we're gonna decide to do with the unpaid balances. The age, we're working on an angel account.
Go ahead.
Okay. Rosie Rubnik, I think her name is, met with Jeff, Jackie and I earlier this summer, very willing to, help fundraise for Angel account. And she's contacted us a couple times, and she contacted us last Friday. And, has $1,000 from Cenex. And she's thinking it might be matchable with somebody else, another partner of theirs. And so we've got that going, and then I thought about, we have the DARE stand where, different groups can use and get half, excuse me, the profits. So I asked Jeff if he would do that, so I'm going to sign up with Jackie for some of the basketball games. We could do that, and then that money would go into the Angel account. There's still some other things that they have to, Crystal and Jeff will have to do in order to get it set up. How to go about it, but it's a start.
So she's gathering some information on how other districts have handled an angel fund.
Okay.
You know, so that we'll have a clear outline on how we're going to
use that money.
use the money and
Is that something that the board has to approve to set up?
Yeah.
account? Yes.
yeah, we'll run it by the board.
Are all of the old accounts, people that are still have students in school?
Most, yeah, cause we wrote off some last year of the
Okay.
students that had left.
Okay,
These are all current.
that was what I wanted to make sure that,
Yeah.
that we weren't using angel money to take care of something old. Okay, I just wanted to check that.
No.
Be like false advertising kind of, you know.
And as of October 15th, pre-reduced applications carry 30 days into the school year. And so they were done October 15th. And we only had 6 families that did not reapply. And I got 3 more of them too, but they didn't qualify. So that's,
Okay.
that's the hard part.
Uh-huh.
I sometimes wish they would either raise or lower the guidelines for certain
Uh-huh.
families, It's really hard. I had a family of 6 and they didn't qualify. So it's like, yeah. But other than that, and actually last year we were around 14,000, we're down to 12, so I think parents are starting to. And I think once the policy, we start getting that out, with a little bit of bite in it. I like to declare it up before I retire.
What's that? You're not gonna retire
Can't
until it's
retire.
cleared up? Is that
So
what
that's
you
why
said?
I started working on getting it done, and, it kind of bothers me.
So, on that note, I know we had a big, kind of push or whatever program to really try and get people who were eligible for free and reduced. How did that turn out?
We received a few applications, but we're still, our community, we're still, our community does make pretty good wages. I see some of them come in. So it's, like I said, a family of 6 do not qualify. But you've got parents that are both working and trying to make it, and sometimes you're, most of the time, it's our applications, the denials, I've had more denials this year than I've ever had. So that's tough.
Okay. So that implies there's been more applications at least.
And yeah, right, we've had a lot more applications, and because of that, there's more denials probably.
Okay. All right. Anything else for Cece? Got anything else for us? All right.
We had talked a while ago, someone had emailed me about the school-wide free lunch program. And there's certain qualifications, and I'm trying to remember.
The school, you can provide free meals, but you still have to pay for it. It would have to come, you would have to still, the school would still have to pay for it. There's no money from the state unless you get more people to qualify for free and reduced meals. They can't just apply, they have to qualify.
Because if you get a certain percentage qualifying, then you can get.
It was like 50% or something.
Yeah.
No, but you still have to pay for it. The school,
You don't get any funding no matter what.
yeah, I looked into it. There were some schools over in Fargo, but then the school had, like, Angel Township had people, or they had some other funding, but it didn't come from state.
Okay.
I have 2 things,
Go right
if I
ahead.
may. Chad Hazelton's at PBIS training with Mr. Novak. That's why they weren't here. But Chad asked me just to mention that he will be writing a job description, but we're going to be looking at a weight room supervisor position, and adding more of a weight program. And there'll be more information coming in November. Correct? And then there was one other thing. Oh, yes. I want to introduce you to Danny. Say your last name for me. Kochek. There's a different way of pronouncing it. What's?
It's Kochek.
And she knows I'll never be able to say it. So, welcome. We made her come tonight so you could have a face to the name, so.
And it is her birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A wonderful birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, right?
So we're excited to have her, and hopefully she can help me clean up my agendas and school board packets a little bit, so. Yeah, she has her work cut out.
All right. We will, barring anything else, anything else, going once, going twice, we'll close the working session and we'll take a few minute break so that we don't start before 7 p.m. just in case somebody wants to show up.
You have the final copy of our settlement agreement with LWA. I don't have the final, I have the notes that, that's what was in the.
It's in the board packet, right?
I just want something to read off of. You want me to handle it? Pretty much got the notes on the board on it. You don't have to necessarily give it to me, that's your copy. Just making sure that I don't misquote it.
Will
I think
do.
it's pretty- And you may have to describe the changes in the ULA.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to even go over language changes? Probably not, right? I mean, nobody's going to ask questions on that. Basically, we just need to know the money in terms of adding it with the co-curriculars and the student advisors.
Basically that, right there.
Okay. Yeah, let me have top sheet then, and I'll get back to you. I've got it here.
Bear dragged me off that doggone wood. Yeah.
Up in sheets of flame.
That's it.
There we go. Woody's out there with a sense of humor. I like it. Lunch policy to have more bite. You almost got to write that headline.
Slip it in between the lines. No, that will be the first.
Yeah, but
Kept
it's,
cringing.
how many times in your career are you going to get to use that headline?
That will be 95% reimbursable once the airport. That'll be.
This-
Doing the study any longer.
What do they have now? Do they have anything?
Got their name now, but it is it's a, you know, that the Twin Cities has, done a lot more wide-ranging study up there on the topography. They've actually come up with 6 possible sites for an airport, 2 of which are on private land, and, owned by people named Marvin, by the way.
Ah,
Yes, and so, that probably won't happen, but that's what they've done, and they've done some drone overflights. They haven't had the success that they anticipated dealing with the red light ban in being able to trim trees off through the approach. They've got to trim trees down pretty much through the approach before they can do anything.
There's a lot of issues with trying to put an airport up.
so what makes it an airstrip versus an airport? The length
was an
and
airstrip
paved
up there.
runway?
Right. Dipsler had it right next to his place there.
Exactly, yeah, there was an airstrip at one time,
Not functional anymore,
correct.
just not maintained.
Well, if we have, the looking for is a 4,000-foot runway. I think this one is only about 1,000 feet, maybe. It was very small.
Yeah, there's a number of things. Well, just getting it built is one, but then the maintenance on it and everything, because now you gotta have a snowplow up there and.
How long,
You have a county employee, probably the same.
like how long is the runway here? I mean, is that like,
Oh, I have no idea.
How long have they been wrangling? I mean, give me a timeline.
Well, I'll tell you what, since I've been covering the meetings for 5 years.
Yeah.
They've been wrangling ever since, not since I started. So, it's going. And, you know, I've had people come up to me, Bob Lazar came up to me and said, we're heaven's sake, publicize my airport. Arm around the shoulder, I really want that airport before I die.
Go ahead and build it.
Yeah.
Start asking for other people to fund it. That's when the problems arise.
Yes.
All right, on that note, it is 7:03 and we'll get the official board meeting started.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we need a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
I would make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Lyon,
I'll second.
second by Sonstagard. All in favor? Well, any discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. We've got the consent agenda. Within the consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes, approval of invoices and statements, approval of personnel resignations, retirements, and appointments. Of the appointments, we've got Lawrence Norwegian, American Indian Education Instructor. Oh, help me out with that. Orpha Holen, American Indian Education Instructor. Danielle Koshak. Was that close? Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it close? So yeah, you're close. District Office Secretary, Taylor Natella? Natalie, okay. Paraprofessional, Lisa Olson, got that one. Second grade teacher, Katie Piper, head girls basketball.
You're off a line.
Which one did I miss?
Lisa Olson, second grade teacher.
Well, I just said Lisa
Oh, I'm
Olson,
sorry, I
second
thought
grade
you said
teacher.
paraprofessional. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm not hearing right.
okay. Dale Brune, assistant girls basketball. Gary Moeller, junior high girls basketball. Janelle Lowe's, junior high girls basketball. Brent Olson, head hockey. Cody Hasbargen, assistant hockey. Chad Hazelton, head boys basketball. Charlie Wells, assistant boys basketball. Brian Suthry, Sather? Sather? Okay. High school knowledge bowl. Jenny Kraus, junior high knowledge bowl. Resignation, Tina Thies. Tice. And that was our bus driver. That is our consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve it.
That motion.
Motion by Ellis,
I'll second.
second by Sonstagard. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. As of this writing, we had no board presenters, and it appears that continues. Written communications. The Minnesota Educational Facilities Management Professionals Association Lifetime Achievement Award to Reed McFarland, which we presented to him during the working session. Old business, I need a motion and a second to approve the third reading of policy 534, unpaid meal charges.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Trask,
I will second CC's retirement campaign.
second by Lyon. Wow, she's trying to get rid of her. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve the second reading of the following policies. 525, violence prevention. 603, curriculum development. 713, student activity accounting. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Lyon,
I'll second.
second by Trask. Any discussion on those? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. On to new business. Last chance, we're sticking with 48 months. Okay. Need a motion and a second to approve a 48-month lease with Border State Bank. This is for our school bus.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ellis,
I'll second.
second by Sonstigard. Any more discussion on it? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Yeah, did I do them all opposed, same sign? Yeah, okay. We're good. Got ahead of myself. Motion and a second to approve the 2019-2020 seniority list.
Make the motion.
Motion by Lyon,
I'll second.
second by Sonstigard. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve the contract with Peterson Floor Surfacing. This is for the gym floor.
I would make a motion.
Another motion by Lyon,
I'll second that.
second by Ellis. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve the 2019 through 2021 Master Teachers Agreement.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sonstigard,
Second.
second by Lyon. Any discussion?
You want me to do the bullet points, Woody? On the teaching contract?
I think it's in the,
Or just give you a
It's in the
copy?
packet.
It's in the packet.
it's in the packet, I'll just check it in the packet.
Okay,
Thank you.
then I won't go over it unless somebody is looking for all the details.
Read it over, so.
The one discussion, I'd say it was a very professional process, really appreciate that. Well done.
Excellent.
By both sides, I'd say, but it went well.
Good to hear. And that was the first of 3?
Yep,
All right.
we'll get there.
That was the discussion, and, yep, okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Need a motion and a second to approve the superintendent's evaluation and growth plan.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ellis,
Second.
second by Lyon. Any discussion? Yeah, we'll keep him around. He's doing a good job. Yep. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2019/2020-11 acknowledging receipt and acceptance of a donation from North Star Electric for the backpack program.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Trask,
I'll second that.
second by Ellis. Any discussion?
Technically, I'm assuming it's the North Star Electric, Operation Roundup.
Okay.
Probably not actually the co-op.
I just read what's on here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just clarify that.
Good to know.
I'm almost positive.
Roundup. So either way, thank you for whatever division of North Star Electric for the donation. That's the discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve policies. The following policies: 516, student medication, and 725, procurement card policy.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Trask,
Second by Lyon.
second by Lyon. Any discussion on these? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We have one aye and a
Yeah,
motion
aye.
carries.
I said it, it's kinda late.
So, okay. We'll consider it passive, going unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve the first readings for the following policies. Policy 414, mandated reporting. Policy 601, curriculum and instruction. Policy 613, graduation requirements. Policy grant guidance, and policy 802, obsolete equipment. Need a motion and a second.
Motion by Lyon.
Motion by Lyon,
I'll second.
second by Trask. Any discussion on this? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And now we have time for other business, if there is any. We got no more business. In that case, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:13.